Hi everyone, welcome to Understanding Mental Health with Rumbi, episode 4. And today we're going to be talking about the trauma of abuse. So I've been bringing in different guests, and last week we had Memory, and she was talking about how she lost her job and how it affected her, and how she had to go through depression. And she actually mentioned something interesting, that back then she didn't know that she had depression. So today we are going to be talking about the trauma of abuse, and I have an interesting guest with me, and I'm just going to invite her to join, and then we can start our live session. um okay. Okay, I'm just waiting for Karen to join, and then we can start. Hi, Memory. Hi, Shingi. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Oh, there she is. Hi, Karen. Hi, can you hear me? Karen, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay, okay. I thought you couldn't hear me. Okay, that's fine. So, welcome to Understanding Mental Health with Rumbi. I'm
Network.
excited to have you here. Can you hear me? Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
thanks.
can
Okay,
hear you.
that's nice. So, okay, without wasting much time, can you introduce yourself so that our viewers get to know who you are and what you do?
Okay. Hey, everyone who just joined, and to those who are gonna see this after the session or might join later. My name is Karen Mhanda. I'm well known as Kai the therapist. I'm an 18-year-old mental health advocate. I'm a therapist as well as an author, and I'm a CEO of the Kai's Creative Youth
Wow,
Magazine.
that's nice. And you're 18. That's amazing. Like you're doing a lot of things. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Uh, uh, yeah.
A lot of things.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're talking about the trauma of abuse, right? I know abuse comes in various forms. There's emotional abuse, there's verbal abuse, there's sexual abuse, there's physical abuse. So, what form of abuse did you
Yeah.
experience?
Okay. Personally, I've experienced emotional abuse,
Okay.
verbal abuse, cyber abuse mostly. And yeah, those kind of abuses, I know that they might not be physically related and they might not cause physical scars on one's body, but these abuses, they really distracted me, and I really suffered from those
Okay.
abuses.
So, do you mind sharing with me and everyone? You said you've experienced emotional abuse, you've experienced verbal abuse, and you've also experienced cyber abuse. So, do you mind, sharing your story just a little
Yeah.
bit so that we know, like, what you have gone through and what you've experienced?
Okay, so basically, I can say, when the whole Corona thing started, that was in 2020, right?
Uh,
Um, the environment that I was used to and everything, the life of everything literally changed when Corona started. I had to move to a new environment, get used to new relatives,
okay.
and so forth. So at first, it was easy. At first, it was something that I could manage. But then with the matter of days, when you're not used to people you stay with, when you're not used to the type of relatives that you are in the same house with, it gets quite destructive. So the people that I was staying with, they were abusing me verbally, and at first I would mind it. At first I would accept it, not knowing that to me I am planting depression, and to me I am becoming the person that I don't want to be. And when 3 months passed, I became the child that would be like, if they say something to me that would be bad, something that I don't like, I would reply back, I would bang the door, I'd walk out at night, when they just bring me rules that I never got used to, when they tell me to do things I never got used to, that my parents, because by that time my family
Okay.
was in Namibia. So I was in Zimbabwe, so because of school I couldn't travel and the borders are closed. So yeah, as a matter of time, within 3-4 months, it was getting worse. I was just ignoring it. I was ignoring it. And then the cyber abuse part came whereby my Facebook account was hacked, and someone shared some explicit videos to everyone that I was who was on
Okay.
my friend list. And my WhatsApp, some people, they were just giving me threats, things like that I never
Okay.
understood or anything. So that's the verbal abuse part. And the emotional abuse, it was more of when I was expecting love,
Okay.
care from.
Okay. Karen. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were in Namibia and then you had to come back home for the holidays, and that's when you got to experience all the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, and the cyber abuse.
It's actually like I was schooling here in Zimbabwe, but my family was staying in Namibia. So I would go there for
Oh,
the
okay, okay.
holidays. But because of Corona and everything, I couldn't travel. So
Oh,
that's
okay,
how
I
it
get it.
started.
And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Uh, no one wants to go through emotional abuse. No one wants to be abused verbally. And well, cyber abuse as well, it's not something, okay, it's something that's happening now a lot. I mean, when we see it on the internet, people bashing other people, you see maybe a girl dumps a guy and then the
Yeah,
guy starts posting
yeah,
nudes
exactly.
or posting, all these pictures. So I'm very sorry that you had to go through all that. So did you have anyone to talk to at that time? Or it was just you were just by yourself, you didn't have anyone to talk to, you were just, experiencing everything and just suffering in silence.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone to talk to. Basically, I felt like even though the few that I would open up about the situation that was at home, they would just judge like, it's nothing, or you're just being childish, you are used to a fancy life, or you are spoiled. So those kind of comments, they just made me to reserve everything and just keep it inside without explaining myself or seeking help to anyone.
Okay, okay, so at Mystical Oreo, you can inbox me and then we can talk. Someone just said how much are your sessions, so you can just inbox and then we can talk about it. So, okay. Um, what painful feelings did you experience? I know abuse is not something pleasant. It's not something that's nice. So definitely you were feeling all the pain, and also what are the painful feelings that you experienced in that moment?
Yeah, so during those moments, as I say that it was getting worse with time. At first, it was comfortable, I can say. I was ignoring it. It was coming with stages, but as a matter of time, I had the feeling of bitterness. I couldn't be kind anymore. I couldn't be quiet. I got toxic. I would just,
Okay.
respond in a way I want. And I also had the painful feeling of suffering from insomnia. I couldn't sleep anymore. I wasn't at peace. I felt suffocated. I
Okay.
felt so okay. And also depression developed, and it became that invisible disability that I wasn't comfortable with or couldn't deal with, and also becoming suicidal.
Wow. I'm so sorry that you had to go through all that. So you said depression developed, and as you were just saying, you talked about, insomnia, you couldn't sleep, you felt suffocated and all. Those are the symptoms of depression, and then also being suicidal. So have you have you at some point, tried to commit suicide because you couldn't handle all the pain and all the emotions that came with all the abuse that you experienced?
Yes, I did try, which is very weird. And if I think about it, it's quite a nightmare. It's something that I never imagined myself in. Because I remember at first, my first attempt was to burn myself
Okay.
with water. So the attempt failed in a way because the water didn't hit my heart. It went straight to my leg. And from there, my leg was damaged. I had to seek medical attention. It was really bad. I mean, if I show you the picture, you would consider me so evil because the skin, it was so ripped off and everything was weird. And then the second attempt was stopping my breath for the longest time as
Okay.
I can. I was just sleeping on the bed, and I just felt that I cannot escape the situation. I can never be heard out there. No one would just like be my anchor at that time. So I tried stopping my breath for the longest time as I can, and I remember I had to suffer from that breathing problem, and I was failing to breathe. I I felt my soul leaving on earth, and it was really painful. It was so painful. And from that, I then just started cutting myself. That's more of the attempts that I
That
tried.
must have been difficult for you, right? So did you
Hmm.
have, anyone who helped you, or did you seek help? Or it kept going on and going on? At what point did you realize that you had to, like, change everything that was happening, like change your life, like change your situation?
Well, okay, so the thing is, at first, a friend tried to help me. She referred a therapist to me. And at first, because those times, it was actually like after 6, 7 months. And I was so worse. I wasn't myself anymore. I didn't want anyone because I felt that for the first days, I needed the help. It
Okay.
wasn't coming to me. No one understood me. No one, they were just judging me. And she tried bringing a therapist in my life, and she
Okay.
tried her best, but then I felt like she judged me and she was comparing herself with me, like, why would you try to commit suicide because of this and that? Your issue isn't something to end your life. So I felt like it wasn't helping anymore. But then after that, I managed to contact my mentor, though he is late now. So I had to visit him, and he took me through some counseling sessions. That was actually
Okay.
January last year when I finally got saved. So it was through those counseling sessions that I had to get better, that I had to take the healing process and assure myself that I want to get better and everything. And the interesting part, through those days, I started developing that passion of saving others. And that's when I decided to become a
Oh,
therapist.
okay. Okay. At least you turned your pain into something meaningful. You decided to help other people as well. But that must have been hard and very difficult. Depression can be nasty and it can be cruel, and it's very sad that in our society a lot of people don't understand, like these things. They say, this person akaroiwa, or
Yeah,
they'll just start judging you, like you were saying that you were
exactly,
being judged, like
exactly.
someone was saying to you, why would you try to kill yourself because of this and this and that? People are different and people react in, different
Yeah,
ways. So you can't just come to someone and then say, why are you trying to commit suicide because of this? This seems like it's just something petty or something silly. It might be silly to you, but to the next person, it's not silly or it's not petty. So I really understand you, and I'm just glad that you had to get out of that hole. And here you are, you're also helping other people as well. So, were you easily triggered by things that
exactly.
reminded you of, the abuse that you went through?
Yes, I was triggered because personally I can say that I'm an overthinker. So, at times you'd be just seated or be in that state of loneliness, and you just recall those times, you just recall those things that have happened to you. Because, especially words really hit hard. People don't understand that you can tell someone that you are this and that. It's really not something to just let it be washed away from the mind. So yes, I was easily triggered to an extent that I I just couldn't have hope. I couldn't see myself as someone better or someone who can actually survive, because when you think more of something, it means that you haven't
Yes,
healed from it.
definitely.
You haven't escaped. You're still in your past. You're still stuck in it. So I just feel like I'm gonna be in this cage forever, or I'm gonna be depressed forever. I'm just not gonna feel the same. I'm not gonna feel love, happiness, be able to laugh or anything like that. I never imagined myself.
It's like, oh God, when is this going to end? So, like, did you have situations where maybe someone would just
Yes.
say, words that would, remind you of, the verbal abuse that you experienced? Maybe, let's say, for example, if you were being told, oh, you said that the people you were staying with used to tell you that you're spoiled, like you don't listen and all those things. So did you have moments where someone would just say something to you? Maybe it's not really like, provocative, but they just say something and then you misinterpret it in a different way, or you get offended, or you overreact. Did you have moments like that?
Yes, I would have moments because, if you're really feeling something heavy or you are not able to keep something inside you, you can just randomly open up to a friend like, I'm sad or I'm heartbroken, have been suffering from depression and stuff. So people would in turn like judge me from that other side of me. They'd be like, how can you be a depressed person? You are talented, you have you're someone who has a bright future, this and that. Like they'll just say some things that wouldn't link up in a way that I want to be listened, and I would just get annoyed. I would get irritated, and it was really triggering.
Okay, okay. That must have been hard, honestly. Like, I really understand you. Not that I've gone through that myself, but I work with people who suffer from depression. I've worked with people who are suicidal. So, like, I really understand what you're saying. It's just that maybe most people don't really get it. So it's like what you're saying. why are you depressed? You know, you have a bright future, but people don't know that they, you know, you might see me here, but mentally I might not be okay. Or you might see me walking or see me smiling, and then you think, this one is okay, this one is perfectly fine. But deep down, hey, I'll be going through a lot.
Exactly. They can just even
Exactly.
judge by your
So
looks,
now you're telling someone I'm not okay or I'm sad, and then they'll be like, we see you, you know, wearing all these nice clothes. We see you talking about mental health, or we see you, you know, dancing and partying or
Exactly.
whatever. You don't look depressed, but you know, looks don't really, you know, show anything. So how did you cope with the, you know, the painful feelings? How did you try to cope? I know you said, you know, you felt suffocated, you know, you were suicidal and all, right? So how did you try to cope with all that? Like, what were your coping mechanisms?
Well, at first, my coping mechanism was it was self-harm. I got addicted to self-harm. I mean, you know, when some people they are depressed, they can actually be into drugs, alcohol, and stuff. As for me, I used self-harm as something that would get me emotionally better in a
Okay.
way. It can be weird, but I would, you know, when you cut yourself, you can feel you can feel physical
Yes.
pain, right? And the good thing is, I would prefer rather feeling the physical pain than the emotional pain. And I would know that the more that I'm cutting myself, the more I would just focus on my hand and not even have to feel something that I cannot control. Because when you are feeling something inside, you cannot control it. Literally, you cannot lift the pain and put it down. It's impossible. But with my hand, I could easily cut myself if I have to cry, if I have to scream. And in the end, I'm putting a bandage. No one is noticing it. I'm repeating it over and over again. And another coping mechanism that came later on, it was distracting myself from the pain by knowing that there are other people out there who are feeling like me or who are feeling more like than me. And I felt like I should start campaigns of mental health, you know, saving especially the girls, because I feel like girls have been through a lot. They go through a lot of pain. So that's when I started, you know, the mental health campaigns. We would have therapy sessions. People would come privately, talk about their issues and everything. So yeah, that's how I coped
Okay.
with the
But
pain.
how did you help them? Like, you know, you were going through something, and then now you're trying to help someone deal with their issues. Like, how did you balance that out?
It was weird, honestly, because you know I would like spend a day feeling so depressed, but it felt like the more that someone can come to me, right, I can easily tell them solutions, which even to me they were not working. I felt like my mentality was stubborn or something because you know I would tell people the things that I was also told to
Okay.
try that never helped me, but those people would be like, oh, thank you, you know, they would appreciate the service, they would appreciate the advice and everything. So I don't know, it was really weird. I could be so depressed, but more so helping someone with their issue on a day-to-day basis.
So someone asked the question, right? And they said, uh, uh, I don't know. Memory, what were you really trying to say? Is she never tempted to cross the line as a therapist who has gone through issues that her patients goes through? Okay, I think what Memory is probably trying to ask, like, she said,
Cross what?
like, are you ever, are you sometimes tempted to cross the line as a therapist who has gone through issues that her patients goes through? I think what she's trying to say is there's what is called transference, right? Or counter transference when it comes to, our therapy, right? Where you as a therapist, maybe your client is going through something that you've gone through, and then you start experiencing, all the weird emotions, maybe the pain or the hatred that you had. Maybe it's the hatred you had towards your dad or towards your sister. You start having that hatred towards your client. So have you ever had situations where someone is telling you the same things that you've gone through, and then you start, having all these, emotions and feelings that you had before?
Well, basically, when a client would come and then they tell me their issue, which could be relatable to mine, I would honestly feel emotional, and more so, it would give me that drive to really help this person because I wouldn't want them to reach the extent that I have reached. So it's not like I would have the hatred or anything, but it would be something that would push me more to be like, okay, this person really needs help because I've been in this person's shoes and I have felt it. So I don't want this person to be like me in the end.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't feel any hatred, but it would be a drive for me as a therapist to really work on that person and have more sessions with them, helping them stage by stage.
Okay, so can you say you're now like, fully healed and you're over what happened to you in 2020?
Well, what I can tell you, which is the sad truth, but it's something that everyone has to know, is depression lives in us. That's the honest truth. Depression lives in us, and it just depends on how you deal with it. I can have moments whereby I just break down, or even moments whereby I can just tell people that, I'm stopping therapies for the whole month or for 2 weeks. I would be just off everything. I don't want to be interacting in this stuff. So yeah, I cannot like to say that I have fully healed. Though yeah, from my past, from what happened in 2020, I have dealt with everything and I have tried to be that person who is to heal completely from those series that happened in my life. But when it comes to depression personally, I cannot say as a therapist I don't suffer from depression. I also have moments that I have to seek for other therapists, like I need help, but then I have just come to a conclusion that I think I am stubborn mentally because I can seek for a therapy, right? But then I think, or I take it as other therapists, they won't take my issues as how I take others' issues as. So I can easily get annoyed or just like, okay, no, I don't want a therapy. I don't need it or anything because I expect to be treated the way I treat other clients. So it's kind of difficult, but yes, I do suffer from depression sometimes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, definitely. As a therapist or as a counselor or as a psychologist, you need to have personal psychotherapy. You need to have someone to talk to after you're done talking to, people, helping other people. So I think it's important that you keep doing that. If you have a therapist or if you have a counselor, then it's important that you continue talking to them so that whatever you're feeling or, whatever that's going on inside you, you don't have to transfer it to the next person. So, do you have any encouraging words that you want to tell, some victims of abuse or just our viewers or people out there who are going to be who are going to watch this live?
Well, the advice that I abuse, but to anyone who can just go through that a situation whereby they are mentally struggling, they are mentally not stable, they are suffering inside. Anything, it might be little, it might be nothing big, but please seek help. Talk about it. It helps a lot. Relieve it from the heart, because emotional pain or something that you feel inside is invisible, and not everyone can understand your case. Not everyone can understand your situation. Don't ignore it. If something happens to you today, even if it's a breakup, if your relationship ends, if you fail your exams, if work ends, anything like that, don't keep it, don't ignore it. Try by all means to let it out through. I mean, there are a lot of ways that I have understood as a therapist, especially using art as a way to do away with pain. People think it's childish or it's only for young people, but you can even draw something, you can listen to music, you can take a walk, take some pictures, watch a movie, eat your favorite snack, look good even for no occasion. You can just dress good even if it means you gotta spend the whole week home, the whole day home. Just try by all means to take care of yourself. Self-healing, self-improvement is so important. And also know that psychological well-being contributes to about 90% of your success in life. If you're not well psychologically, you can never succeed in life. I don't want to lie. You can be rich, but
Yeah, I like the part where you said you cannot succeed if you're not okay psychologically. I like that part. I like that part. So, by the way, guys, I'm writing a book and it's called Becoming Your Best Self. And in my book, I talk about that. I talk about maintaining balanced mental well being, that it's important to have good mental health, because if you're not okay psychologically, right, definitely you won't be productive. So it's important that you work on your mental state. Memory Ngandini said we did not hear the last part. Okay, so the last part she said that if you're not okay psychologically, right, you won't succeed in life. So you definitely need to work on your mental health so that you succeed in whatever you're doing or you become productive. So I was just commenting on that, saying, I'm writing a book and it's there in my book. I talk about that, where I say you're supposed to maintain a balanced mental well-being for you to be productive or for you to perform, at your, best self. So it's very important to, take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and like it's very important. So thank you very much for, sharing with us. There's also a part where you talked about art. I dance as well, and I believe that dancing is therapeutic. So art definitely works. It also
oh,
works. You're talking about drawing. You talked about, taking pictures, photography and all that. All those things, they really help. Like they really help, even though they don't help, but they do help a lot. So I agree with you totally on, what you've said. So thank you very much, Karen. It was really nice to have you here. You're so young. You're 18 and look at you. You're doing so many things, which is really good. I just read your bio. I was like, whoa, this girl is doing a lot of things. And then now you're coming here and then you say I'm 18. I'm like, what? I'm like, this girl is 18 and she's really doing amazing things and she's really doing, great things. Keep doing what you're doing, keep making a difference. I'm sure one day we're going to see you somewhere up there. Yeah, we're going to see you somewhere up there. And then I'll be like, you know what? I once had a live session with this girl, so I'm proud of you. And I'm glad I got to have, this live session with you, and we got to talk about the trauma of abuse. So to all our viewers, thank you very much for joining. You say it?
I
I
said
think.
most people don't believe me. They think I'm in my 20s or something.
Oh, is it? Is it? So the thing is, I never got to ask your age, And usually, it's not really appropriate to just come to someone and say, "So how old are you?" So, yeah, but honestly, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and thank you very much. So, guys, this marks the end of our live session. I hope I see you next week, and I hope you get to join next week as I bring another guest and we continue talking about trauma. So, thank you very much, guys. And to all my viewers, I love you all. And Memory Ngandini, I saw you. Thank you for the support.